Hey, bro, did you happen to see Wes Huff on Flagrant?
Yeah. I saw it.
What'd you think about it?
I thought it was good. I thought it was a 3 hour long conversation.
Yeah.
And I thought they touched almost every question that skeptics have or doubts that people have or pushbacks. I think they they didn't try. I think they just pressed him on so many different controversial or just, skeptical areas. And
Yeah.
I thought overall, the way that he articulated the gospel was very clear, and that's what I left with. That's what I was most encouraged by. It's just the fact that such a long conversation, so many topics, but at the end of the day, the gospel was clearly presented. Fundamental doctrines like the Trinity, I thought he did like a really good job in not only sharing it but like helping them understand. And so I just think God is doing something real unique in that, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's encouraging to see something like that, because I feel like back in the day you would have Christians be talked about in the news. Like they would do articles, or they would be like on, I remember I've seen some clips of like John MacArthur on Larry King. Yeah. He was always on there, right? He would go on there, and like they would have them on and they would debate and things like that. And then I feel like in the 2000s, mid 2000, like all of that stopped. Like a Christian was, they were like looked at evil. You couldn't have any of them nearby. You couldn't talk to any of them. You didn't want to give them any TV time. And I mean, of course you still have that now, because I have seen there's a famous clip of he was a football player, and he said before he began, he like, I just want to thank Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
And they edited it out.
Wow.
They clipped it out.
Yeah.
So like that stuff still does happen, but what I'm trying to get to is like Wes Huff being on Joe Rogan, the largest podcast in the world.
Yeah.
And then now on Flagrant. So you have more of these Christians being out there. And in 2 days, he had already reached 1 million people.
Yeah.
So people I feel like right now are interested. They want to know more about this stuff. You have Charlie Kirk also going out to college campuses, sharing the gospel. What's his name, dude? What's his name? The older guy with his son now?
Oh, Cliff.
Yes, Cliff. He blew up too, it feels like. He blew up. So you have more of these people wanting to learn about Jesus Christ. And I feel like a lot of young people, they do want to know, because another guy that I like is Ray Comfort, and he always says that when he goes out there, a lot of people would say like, oh, the younger generation, they don't believe in God. They don't care about God. But he said when he would talk to these young people, they would wish for someone to speak to them about God. Like they knew that something was out there, but they didn't know what. So it makes me think of like the biblical passage when like the Jesus says like the soil is ready.
Yeah.
It's ready, and I feel like we're living that now.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. It's like you said. I'm excited. I'm encouraged to see what happens next.
Yeah, and I just really like how specifically the voices that are being heard, like for example a Wes Huff, where he's a biblical scholar. That, and just like hearing both on Rogan and on Flagrant, where it was just hours of conversation, asking any question, and just off the top of the dome, having dates and of course, like I think just an important thing. I personally think that there should always be just a huge extension of grace. Like if you mess up a number or if you mess up a date or if he gets a verse wrong, where you're just sitting down for a conversation that could go anywhere. And, and just the fact that he could do it, I thought it was great. And, I think we should all be slow, to critique that, and instead just pray that the Lord would use that and, just use that platform. Yeah. But I just like how there is just solid biblical content that's being explained, the gospel being articulated and defended in a scholarly way. But at the same time, just like all these guys, they explain it in a way that is simple, but at the same time, like true. And I think like you said, I feel like God is just opening and moving in a way that people are just more receptive to the gospel. Yeah. And I think, like you said, I think there's a clear shift in time where there was just such pushback and such hatred and, just there was no airtime. There was no pockets for Christian dialogue or for Christ. And, so just to see that now, you know, like you said, on some of the biggest platforms or podcasts in the world, that you have just a good, solid biblical and scholarly articulation and defense for the Christian faith. I'm just I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful for these voices, and I just pray that the Lord would use that, and that like you said, you know, just I think in a week, you know, he's at 1.6 million views on the Flagrant. So just for 1.6 million people to have heard the gospel, I think that's, you know, that's such a blessing, and what a time to be alive.
Yeah,
where
honestly.
You know, the gospel could be heard by so many people all across the world. Yeah, man. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and then like, I don't know, when I saw this and I saw how many people were tuning in, a part of me went to like the biblical prophecies in the fact, like, okay, I used to hate when people would say like Jesus is coming soon, like Jesus is coming soon, because I was like, okay, like relax, like, you know, you don't know when he's coming, or like nobody knows, so can you stop doing this push? But I don't know, man. I feel like
he's coming
soon. Like I'm one of those now. Like
you hear the footsteps, man.
Yeah. Because like I said earlier, like it feels like a lot of people want to know about Jesus Christ. They want that relationship with God, and the fact that in the Bible, one of those things where it says like he'll come back when everybody has heard. I always thought to myself, okay, how is that going to happen? How is everybody going to hear? Or like, oh, he's not going to come back soon. Like, so all these people saying he's going to come back soon. He's not going to come back soon, because if you have to reach everybody, there's so many people on earth, and there's some of them are in deep places. You don't know how to get there, or teams can't get there. So how is it going to happen? But dude, the invention of this, I feel like we forget that with these prophecies, you can use technology of the day. And if in 2 days, like you said, he had 1 million, or in 2 days he had more than 1 million views. In 7 days, 1.6 already.
Yeah.
It looks like through this, more people will be able to see. And it's not just Wes Huff. There's so many Christian content TikToks. There's so many Christian content creators out there who are sharing, you know, good biblical messages. And so, I don't know, man. I feel like Jesus is coming soon.
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
and it's not just that, like, everything else happening around, like, it just feels different. And I don't know if it's because we are older or anything. I really don't think it's that. It like, just the whole society and everything, it just feels different.
And I'm here for it, man. I want Christ to return.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the life that the Lord has given, but yeah, man, I want to be home.
Yeah.
I long for the day to be with my Savior. And I think that's true, man. I think this is just such a good way. And yeah, I think all believers should be, you know, as intentional and as wise as possible in terms of using technology for the advancement of the gospel, so that people could hear. Because I think in another time this wasn't available. So I'm even thinking of I heard it from a podcast. It was Gavin Ortland, where he was talking about how Billy Graham, when he would do his evangelistic crusades, you know, where in one crusade that was, you know, many weeks long, about 18,000 people would show up, you know, per event.
Okay.
And he's like, and just think of it now, where at that time 18,000 people were able to hear the gospel in an evangelistic event, and then here you have a video that's being uploaded where millions of people are watching
throughout the world.
Yeah, throughout the world.
Yeah.
So it's not even just in a geographic location where, you know, if you know, he did a evangelistic tours in like New York, for example, but now all throughout the world, people can hear the proclamation of the gospel. People can come to Christ. People can hear this good news message, and hear defense of the faith in just in a solid way. And I think one of the interesting things that Wes Huff always says is just the fact that Christianity, that, you know, he is a Christian because of all the evidence that it has, that all the evidence that proves it to be true. And so I'm really grateful that not only is there the apologetic for the Christian faith, but at the same time, the sharing of the gospel, where you defend it, but also give people these good news and just pray that the Lord would, just penetrate this message to their heart, that they would receive it, that they would believe it, that they would understand it. And yeah, so that's what I'm really prayerful for. Every time I see, somebody share the gospel clearly, articulately, and it blows up, immediately, I tend to be slow to critique just because, it's tough. I can't imagine being in that position and defending the faith that well.
Yeah.
But I just pray that the Lord would use that. And yeah, like you said, like I'm thinking of somebody in like a remote country where, they would just come across this clip or come across a video or a conversation or a TikTok where they hear the gospel for the first time and their world is shattered. So I'm just praying that would happen, even through technology.
Yeah.
And just encourage believers. Like I think we should be praying for that. And yeah, if at all possible, do it. Participate in that. We long for the Lord to return.
Yeah.
But while we wait, we faithfully proclaim the gospel. We faithfully announce that the kingdom of God is here. It has come. He is reigning, and people are welcome to be a part of His kingdom. So yeah.
Amen, dude.